In my last video, I tested out link decoder on what the best n word you can make was. Since then, I've continued to experiment with Mathmech. In this video, I want to go over another line I've found since then. With this build, using a starter and any two bodies, your end board is Darkfluid, Terahertz, and Superfac. That means 2 monster negates, 1 spell or trap negate, 3 card rips, an omni negate, and depending on if you open circular, a face-up card negate. Here's how it goes. Okay, let's start off with the circular line first. So this is very standard. Activate circular, discarding Sigma. Special summon circular, activate Sigma to special summon itself back. This triggers circular effect to add Superfac. And from here, exceed summon Alimbertion. And then detach 2. To add diameter, very standard stuff. For this line, do note it doesn't matter where you place your Alimbertion. Before you had to place it under the EMC, it doesn't matter now. So we normal summon diameter, special summon, it doesn't matter. Link summon Splash Mage. I like to activate Parallel Exceed here. Just makes it easy. Activate Parallel Exceed, of course. And from here, we want to special summon Link Decoder. Activate Splash Mage effect. Bring back anything, doesn't matter. Link summon Transcode Talker. Activate Link Decoder effect. Leave this zone open so Transcode can activate. Then from here, we want to special summon G-Golem Crystal Heart. So we can activate its effect. This gives us 1 extra material, the one that we need. So now we have 10 materials on board. 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, 10. That means we can summon Terahertz using these 3. And then activate Terahertz effect. You want to activate it first. This is important. Send Dissolve Worm. And then you can summon Darkfluid. Now what Darkfluid does, when it's summoned, you can place counters on it equal to how many types of Cyberse monsters you have. We have a Fusion in Cyberse Dissolve Worm, and an Xyz in Mathmech Alimbertion. So we get 2 monster negates, and that's not once per turn. And then with Superfac set, we now have 3 card hand rip, 2 monster negates, 1 spell and trap negate, and during their turn, as you'll see here, we can activate Terahertz, which lets us send Myriologic Aggregator during their turn to negate a face-up Carter effect on the field on a new chain. Right, this line will use our second starter, Firewall Defensor. Standard stuff, normal summon it, link summon Link Decoder. Now activate its effect. Unfortunately, we have to use Parallel Exceed here. It is more prone to hand traps. However, you do need the 2 bodies for Splash Mage, unless you run something like an extra Lingoribo in the extra deck. But I find that the extra deck space in Mathmech is really tight. So I'd rather just activate it here instead of allotting an extra slot. So from here, link summon Splash Mage to activate Guardian effect. Activate Splash Mage effect. Xyz summon Alimbertion. There it is. Right here. Now we add circular here. And a good thing about this line that I'll show shortly, when we activate circular effect, unlike the last video where we sent Nobla, we'll send Sigma this time because we can get 3 names in the graveyard without Nobla. From here we'll activate Alimbertion effect, tribute itself to bring back Sigma, and that procs circular effect to add Superfac. and then transcode. Now this adds link decoder back to field. Special summon Splash Mage back. Special summon G Golem Crystal Heart. Brings transcode back. And then we have 10 materials on the field again, so we can do what we did last time. Special summon Terahertz, activate its effect to send Dissolve Worm. Special summon Dark Fluid, and now it has 2 counters again. So the interesting part about this line, and why I said you don't need to activate Nabla, is that during the end phase, or rather during their turn, you can activate it, and then you can send Diameter that way, instead of allotting an extra deck slot to a brick like Nabla. So this line is less prone to bricking, which is something to note. So that was the line. This is a deck list I used for the deck. I worked on a lot, but I'm sure it can be optimized in some way, so I'd love to know your suggestions. So the pros and cons between this line and the last line I showcased. The biggest one, this line does not run any bricks. You don't have to run Nabla or Dotscaper, so it's a lot more flexible. I replaced the 2 slots shown with Sakitama and Aratama, just extenders, but it just feels a lot better to draw them than to draw Nabla or Dotscaper, which not only disables the line that I showed, but just generally feels bad. Another thing is that since Dark Fluid is a monster negate, unlike the other board, if they nib you at the end of your board, it is actually possible to negate it. This somewhat matters because people that you're playing against who are experienced against Mathmechs will know that Mathmechs usually have no way to play around a nib if it's at the end of their board. This new Dark Fluid line can catch them off in that way. There's another line that's been growing increasingly popular lately, the Sign of Conflict line, where you send Microcoder with Terahertz and then revive it back with Splash Mage. So then your end board would be Terahertz with Heat Soul, and then you also have a negate through Sign of Conflict. This line I feel is a little better than the one I showed in the last video, because while you don't get the 2 bounces with Singularity, you do get an Omni negate, and Microcoder and Sign of Conflict are not hard bricks. You can still do the combo with them. However, I feel like these lines are just to show the capabilities of what's possible with Mathmechs, and it's just kind of food for thought. I don't know which lines are the best, especially because their power levels are so similar. If you get these combos off, honestly, you have a 95% chance of winning the game. So do whatever is the best for you. Right now, I'm enjoying this line a lot because it just feels a lot nicer, a lot easier, and it bricks you less. So I personally prefer this line, and honestly, I just find having a lot more negates just a lot more fun, since this line definitely creates the most amount of negates. I'm not sure about this extra deck also. Obviously there's some questionable stuff here, like 1 Alimbertion instead of 2 like most people run. I'm sure that can be changed by cutting Almirage, but I do like running Almirage. Because I run Aratama and Sakitama as a 1-of, they can be converted into a Cybers if need be. However, I can definitely see an argument for both of them. If you really wanted, you could cut Myriologic. It's not the most important card, it's very matchup dependent. It's getting against stuff like Random Despia. But overall, I think this is a pretty refined list for the line I've made. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will make more Mathmech content if you guys enjoy it. See ya.